Hi, this video is just to explain some of the couple of questions from the task 303. So this one looks at a simple game of snakes and ladders, and currently Hannah is on square 96. These are the rules for the end of the game. So when it's your turn, you roll the die and you move forward that number of squares. If you land on a tail of a snake, in other words, 97, you go down to 65. To win, you must land exactly on square 100. You may not overshoot. If you throw a number that will make you overshoot, you do not move during that turn. The table shows that the probability distribution for Hannah finishing the game in 1, 2, or more turns show that the probability that she finishes the game in exactly 2 turns. So the key word to emphasize there is exactly. 2 turns is 4 over 36. So the first thing we need to think about is looking at this probability. Where did the 36 come from? So remember, the denominator is always total. All right. So in this scenario, you're rolling the dice, and we're rolling 2 turns. So there are 2 turns that we must do. How many outcomes are there when we roll the dice once? 6. And how many are there when we roll the dice the second time? Another 6. Another way to think about it, and what we've done previously, is if you think of the grid, there are 1 to 6 possibilities in the first roll. In the second roll, there's also 1 to 6. That would give us 36 possibilities. So that's where the 36 comes from. So the total outcomes is equal to 36. Now, the next part of it, the more difficult part of the question, is thinking about where does this 4 come from? That means there's 4 ways to win when you roll the dice twice. So let's go through them. So starting off with the lowest number, 1. If she rolls 1, she ends up on the dishonesty square and she goes downwards. There is no way that she can win on her next turn. So that's no possibility. If you roll the dice first with a 1, you won't be able to finish on 2. The next question is looking if she rolls a 2. It's a ladder, so she doesn't go down, but she doesn't finish either. So for her to finish on exactly 2 turns, she would have to roll a 3 to get to 100. So that's one possible way to win, is to get a 2 or a 3. Now, then we move on to 3. Oh, sorry, 2. It should be a 2 and a 2. The next one, if she rolls 3, then on the second turn, she must roll 1 to get to the finish. And obviously, if she rolls 4 off the bat, she finishes anyway, but that's not exactly 2 turns, which is stated over here. So we're not including that as a possible answer. So the next one is, what if she rolls 5? Well, if she rolls 5, she overshoots. She stays where she is. But she could roll 5 followed by a 4. And then that way she would finish. Also, 6 and a 4 would be a finish as well in 2 turns. So that's where our 2 outcomes had come from. Sorry, our 4 outcomes have come from. That's where the 4 and the 36 come from. So then B looks at the probability distribution. Now remember, this should add up to 1 because they're all the possibilities. You can't finish without at least rolling once, twice, or more. Now there's actually an infinite number of rolls that you could end up with, because you could continually end up with going to 97 and going back down and all those sorts of things. So looking at greater than 2 is really, really difficult to work out. What's much easier is to look at the others, and then we can take those away from 1. So the first key thing is number of turns to finish. If we look at exactly 1 turn to finish, there's only one way, and that is 1 out of 6. So 1 out of 6 is the only way that you can finish. You have to get the 4 on the first roll, otherwise that's it. So what we can do now is, because we know 2 of the 3, we have to take them away from 1 to work it out. So it's going to be 1, take away 436, take away 136. Sorry, 16. So the difficulty with this question, this is where people have made mistakes, is that you can't subtract fractions when they've got different denominators. It's not possible. You could use it on your calculator, but if you want to do it by hand, you could change them into all denominators of 36. So 1 would be 36 divided by 6, take away 4 over 36, take away 6 over 36. So that means we have to take away 10. To make our life easier, we can make this 6 out of 36. So we take away 36, take away 4 is 32, take away 6 is 26. And that's it. So just checking again, 6 plus 4 plus 26 equals 36. So I know that adds up to 1. So there's quite a lot of differences. It's quite a clever question, really. But there's quite a lot of differences looking at these things for you to do. So I'm going to post these answers that I do for when people always ask me questions about different parts, so that everybody can see them. It is a good idea to refer them and then look how your answer fits to them.